The anti-Semitic decision of the International Court in The Hague is a modern Dreyfus trial, and it will end the same way. The decision to issue an arrest warrant against me, the democratically elected Prime Minister of the State of Israel, and our former Defense Minister, was made by a rogue prosecutor.
Trouble keeps mounting for Israeli PM Benjamin Netanyahu as his forces wage deadly wars in Gaza and Lebanon. The International Criminal Court in The Hague has issued arrest warrants for the Israeli Prime Minister and former Defense Minister Yoav Gallant. In a statement, the ICC ordered the pair be detained to face charges for crimes against humanity and war crimes, allegedly committed in the year of bloody fighting in Gaza since Hamas' October 7th attacks on the country. So, what is the International Criminal Court? What exactly is it investigating? And how will the arrest warrant against Netanyahu impact Israel's wars in Gaza and Lebanon? We explain in the latest episode of HT In Depth. The ICC was established in 2002 as the permanent court of last resort to prosecute individuals responsible for the world's most heinous atrocities: war crimes, crimes against humanity, genocide, and crimes of aggression. While the United Nations General Assembly endorsed the ICC, the court is independent. Without a police force, the ICC relies on member states to arrest suspects, which has proven to be a major obstacle to prosecutions. The UN General Assembly raised the Palestinian status in 2012 from a UN observer to a non-member observer state. That opened the door for the Palestinian territories to join international organizations, including the ICC. The investigation's initial remit included probing both alleged crimes committed during and since a previous war between Israel and Hamas in 2014, and Israel's promotion of Jewish settlements in the occupied West Bank. However, the court's prosecutor, Karim Khan, confirmed in November that the investigation would also encompass the current war, which was triggered by Hamas's surprise attack on Israel on October 7th. ICC prosecutors are not only investigating allegations of war crimes by Israel, but also by Hamas and other militant groups active in those territories. Israel and its allies denounced the International Criminal Court's decision to issue an arrest warrant for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, even as Turkey and several rights groups welcomed the move.
What in God's name are they talking about in The Hague? The truth is simple. No war is more just than the war that Israel has been waging in Gaza after Hamas attacked us unprovoked, launching the worst massacre against the Jewish people since the Holocaust. The decision to issue an arrest warrant against me, the democratically elected Prime Minister of the State of Israel, and our former Defense Minister, was made by a rogue prosecutor who's trying to extricate himself from sexual harassment charges, and by biased judges who are motivated by anti-Semitic sentiments against the one and only Jewish state.
Israel's biggest ally, the US, said that it fundamentally rejects the International Criminal Court's decision to issue arrest warrants for senior Israeli officials.
Let me just say more broadly that we fundamentally reject the court's decision to issue arrest warrants for senior Israel officials. We remain deeply concerned by the prosecutor's rush to seek arrest warrants and the troubling process errors that led to this decision. The United States has been clear that the ICC does not have jurisdiction over this matter. You've heard us say this before. Whatever this prosecutor might imply, there is no evidence, none, between Israel and Hamas. There's just none.
However, European countries that are part of the court's jurisdiction now face a dilemma. The EU's foreign policy said that the decision is not political, and urged member states to respect it.
As I said before, the tragedy in Gaza has to stop. And now I will be very sober in my comment. It is not a political decision. It is a decision of a court of justice, of an international court of justice. And the decision of the court has to be respected and implemented. So I take note of the decision of the International Criminal Court to issue arrest warrants from Prime Minister Netanyahu, the former Minister of Defense, Mr. Gallant, and the Hamas leaders, Dave. This decision is a binding decision, and all states parties of the court, which include all members of the European Union, are binding to implement this court decision.
Hamas welcomed the move, calling it an important step towards justice and can lead to redress for the victims in general. However, Hamas Political Bureau member Bassem Naim said the warrant remains limited and symbolic if it is not supported by all means by all countries around the world. The Palestinian Authority, a rival of Hamas, said the ICC's decision represents hope and confidence in international law and its institutions. Meanwhile, a handful of states, including NATO members like France, Belgium, the Netherlands, and Turkey vowed to uphold the ICC's ruling and defended the independence of the court. So, what does the arrest warrant mean for Israel, which is not a member of the International Criminal Court and disputes the ICC's jurisdiction? Israeli officials subject to ICC arrest warrants will not be able to travel to more than 120 countries which are members of the ICC. These countries would be obliged to arrest Netanyahu and Gallant and hand them over to the court. Those countries include the UK, most European and Latin American countries, as well as numerous states in Africa and Asia. Beyond the direct impact of any arrest warrants, ICC's arrest warrants could also have knock-on effects. ICC member states may be less willing to supply Israel with weapons, and even impose sanctions of their own, essentially increasing Israel's international isolation. The move risks splitting Israel's allies and partners, with the incoming US administration already putting itself on a collision course with the court. In a post on social media site X, Michael Waltz, President-elect Donald Trump's pick for National Security Advisor, said the ICC has no credibility and insisted that the allegations had already been refuted. He added there will be a strong response to the antisemitic bias of the ICC and UN come January. Will the ICC arrest warrant lead to global isolation of Israel? Will the ICC's decision have an impact on Israel's ongoing wars in Gaza and Lebanon? We'll wait and watch.